Only 2 days till the end of the transfer window, but Rangers squad is still intact with no significant departees. Chris Boyd was left out against Aberdeen in the last league game, but he starts today alongside Nacho Novo. John Fleck returns for Stevie Naismith in one of the 2 changes made to the team that reached the League Cup final. The other sees Stephen Whittaker preferred to Sasa Papac amidst conjecture that a booking for Papac today would rule him out of the forthcoming Old Firm clash through suspension. Willo Flood completed his move to Celtic yesterday, ending his long and productive loan spell at Tannadice. Sir David Robertson returns into the midfield, and Craig Levein is forced into 2 defensive changes as well. Lee Wilkie hurt his knee against Celtic, so Darren Dodds starts his first SPL game since late November. Paul Dixon has the same problem, so Danny Granger features in the 11 for the first time in nearly 5 months. 3-3 in the last meeting here, an occasion in which Rangers needed a stoppage time equaliser from Kevin Thompson to grab a point. But a point today would surely be regarded as failure for Rangers, with a 3rd Old Firm clash of the season next up in the league. Gary Kenneth and Darren Dodds playing alongside each other at centre-half today. They haven't featured together in the league for a while, although they did play in the comfortable victory at East Stirlingshire at Ochilview earlier this month. Here is Kenneth. Back for Darren Dodds, closed down quickly by Stephen Davis. Dodds with the captain's armband today in the absence of Lee Wilkie. Dodds has only featured in one of the last 10 matches in all competitions, but back in the side today. His layoff has been even longer. The young English defender Danny Granger playing for the first time since September the 13th in the league. Long throw from Granger, who's in the side because of a slight knee problem for Paul Dixon today. Dixon is fit enough to be named amongst the substitutes for the Terrors, though. First battle between Dodds and Boyd, ending in a free kick to Rangers. Weir. Fleck. Longer from Weir, this time in towards Nacho Novo, who scored twice during the week. Mendes. Novo. Boyd wanted the ball to be played early. Ferguson's made his way forward. Stephen Davis has as well. Might get a second opportunity. Appeals for handball by Granger, although the appeals came from the crowd and not from the Rangers players significantly. Good defending by Magic Bagheera. And McGregor with a long clearance. Well, a couple of weeks ago, Walter Smith said that in order to balance the books, Rangers would have to make one significant sale during the transfer window. It hasn't happened yet. Which of these players, if any, will find themselves playing their last game for Rangers today, with the transfer window due to shut on Monday night? Well, Danny Granger is playing his first game for 5.5 months today. And this was the penalty claim for handball. It did seem just to strike his hand as he fell down. I don't think that there was any intent there. Dodds has seen plenty of the ball on his return to the side in the opening stages. Kovacevic. Just too long for Magaro Gomes, who was actually linked with a move to Rangers last summer. He's the only ever present in the Dundee United side this season. Linchpin in the Arabs midfield. Whittaker. Four from Davis, but Chris Boyd is offside. Jaluska, who will be a Celtic player next season. Flood, of course, having made the journey from Tannadice to Celtic yesterday, albeit he was actually on loan at United from Cardiff. Gomez. Play by Weir. I think he thought that it took a touch on the way out from a United player, but Ian Bryans didn't agree. Bryans from the road in Paisley taking charge again today. Well, Granger does have a decent long throw on him. Neglects to use it this time. Conway. Has done well, Craig Conway. Didn't overrun it. Mendes' first touch good enough to prevent it going out of play for a corner. Now Sandasa. Scored twice on his last trip here, but was well muscled off the ball by Mendes. Fleck. Now Davis. He's got Nacho over to his right-hand side. Plays him in now. Boyd's in the centre. Granger there with a very strong challenge to make sure that the ball didn't get across. Lovely ball by Fleck to start the move, and Stephen Davis is always involved, liking to cut inside from the right-hand side of midfield. That created space for Novo. Granger read the script. Play for a Rangers throw this time. Whittaker, who's playing at right back with Kirk Broadfoot having moved over to the left-hand side. Sasha Papac today, of course, he's on the bench. Mendes. Weir. Fleck wanted a free kick from Kovacevic, but didn't get one. And then a risky ball back has put United in a bit of pressure here. David Robertson it was with the error, but he's got away with it. Weir turning neatly under pressure. And Nacho Novo's offside. Novo didn't agree, and I think Craig Levein thought it was close as well, judging by his body language on the near side. Kovacevic in strongly. Broadfoot's clearance falls straight to him. Now Sandasa. Feeney wanted the ball, played into feed early. He's got it now, Warren Feeney. Back for Sandasa again. Options at the far post for him. And in the end, he beat himself. Novo. Challenged by Dodds. Broadfoot there ahead of Feeney, who played the ball. And gets back to his feet quickly enough to restart the move. Foul then by Nacho Novo. Right in front of Ian Bryans. A free kick to Dundee United. Match stayed in for David Robertson. David Weir able to come across and just roll it out of play. Not too much between the two sides in the opening 10 minutes. Gary Kenneth prepares to arch the back, and again he goes for the short throw rather than the long one. And Fleck, I think, a little bit unlucky that the throw has gone United's way again. This time Gary Kenneth will launch it long. Feeney looking for the near post flick, which was potentially dangerous. Bagheera can clear, and John Fleck helps it out of harm's way for Rangers. Well, he's not a Celtic player for another 5 months, but Zaluska is already being booed and whistled by the Rangers faithful. Zaluska, who's hoping that he will be able to stake a claim to be Celtic's #1 goalkeeper over the forthcoming months. Very much has a job to do still with United. Starting this weekend, 3rd in the table. Level with 4th placed Hearts, but with a better goal difference and a point clear of Aberdeen. Everything very much to play for 3rd spot in European football next season. Feeney. Another play by Kurt Broadfoot. Thrown in long by Gary Kenneth. Here's Gomez. And he's lost out to Pedro Mendes. Well rescued, though, by Prince Bourbon. Granger with a stumble. Lucky to get away with it. Well kept in by Kenneth. This is Robertson. David Robertson getting a chance in the absence of his namesake Scott, who's out through injury, and, of course, the departed Willo Flood. Now Kenneth. Robertson's layoff for Kovacevic. Feeney. Rangers just struggling to get it out from under their feet at the moment, but the long range effort from Migaro Gomez was well wide. Clearance from McGregor was less than assured. Weir couldn't get a decent foot in. Back for Gomez. Clipped in by Robertson. Appeals for handball, but Broadfoot had both arms down by his side. No way that was going to be given. Here's Dodds. Now Kovacevic. Kurt Broadfoot was at pains to keep the arms within the general confines of his body rather than outstretched to make sure that he wasn't deemed to have handled that. Sandasa. And had a play for a goal kick. I think he thought there was a corner there, Francesco Sandasa. It just seemed as though when he whacked it in, it might just have taken a touch on its way through. Foul on Nacho Novo, the first player to stay down injured during the game. Challenge made by Danny Granger. And just being spoken to by Ian Brines, the former Gretna defender. Punched in long by Fleck. Broadfoot was the far post target for Rangers. Robertson will be able to get there. Good challenge by Pedro Mendes, and it breaks for Kurt Broadfoot. Not the best cross on his weaker left foot. Smith and Ian Durant happy with what they've seen so far, although no sign of a breakthrough really for either side in the opening quarter of an hour or so. Kenneth's header seized upon well by Fleck, drives forward and he breaks for Nacho Novo. Kenneth with a good recovering challenge, really well defended by Gary Kenneth. Just living on their nerves, United, once or twice. Feeney in there, able to dispossess Weir. Robertson, the son of a former Rangers player, of course, able to slide it forward for Sandasa. Feeney working it wide here for Conway. He's done well to keep his feet with Rangers players snapping at his heels, but Bagheera was able to come in with a dominant touch to bring it away. And it's a good strong run. Nacho Novo offside. That must have been close. Looks as though the assistant referee just about got it right. It was a marginal call. Nacho Novo far from happy. I think you've got to give the assistant the benefit of the doubt that he got it right. It's just one home defeat in 33 matches for Alan McGregor and Rangers. Coming, of course, in the last Old Firm clash, although United very nearly inflicted one on their last trip here when they led 3-2 in stoppage time. Kevin Thompson absent for much of the time since through injury, with the equalising goal on that occasion. Francesco Sandasa scored twice in that game. Did in fact score in 3 consecutive matches around that time, but hasn't found the net since. Back from the Spaniard for Kenneth. Put out a play by Pedro Mendes, who today is playing the 250th league game of his much varied career, which has seen him score spectacular goals this season against Celtic, Partick and Inverness as well. Kenneth's long throw inside the penalty area. Sandasa trying to flick it on. Robertson with the effort. And it's a really good save by Alan McGregor. Down instinctively. Robertson perhaps didn't get too much power on it, but that was the closest either side have come to scoring a goal so far. Lucas Aluska in action at the other end, but Alan McGregor with a vital stop to keep Dundee United out. Away by Gary Kenneth. Back into the fray from Ferguson. Away by Kenneth again. Weir. Mendes. Whitaker into space for Chris Boyd, who links it up well with Mendes. Fleck had made the run forward, but Kovacevic had covered it. And now United able to bring it away and then give it away as Conway stumbled. Now Bagheera. Wide from Ferguson for Broadfoot. Bourbon. Davis finding Mendes after another mistake from the United midfield, and this time the flag stayed down. Possibly because Chris Boyd stopped believing that he was offside, and therefore was deemed not to be interfering with play. Ferguson's header away. Back from Bourbon, helped on by Conway. No foul on him. Davis, Whitaker. Novo. Teasing it forward for Barry Ferguson, and it'll break for John Fleck here. Ferguson stayed down injured. Kenneth able to get it away. Kenneth gets it clear again. Barry Ferguson back on his feet. Still Rangers in possession with Fleck bringing in Majid Bagheera, the Algerian, using the full width of the pitch to find Pedro Mendes. And the centre-halves continued his run forward superbly. Dodds with a header away. Better spell of sustained pressure from Rangers. Here's Weir. Davis trying to get around the back of Danny Granger. Steve Davis, who scored against Dundee United here when the sides last met. He should play his 50th game for the club at Forfar in the Cup next week. Sandasa. That's how to play for a Rangers throw. Well, Alan McGregor with one vital save. It stopped Dundee United taking a lead, largely against the run of play. It all came from another long set piece. And it was David Robertson that made his way forward, an instinctive chance, and well, stopped by McGregor. Much to his and Rangers' relief. Kirk Broadfoot. Away by Kenneth. Much more up than out. Ferguson helps it back into the fray. Gary Kenneth clears again. Davis. And that was close. The idea was right. The defence splitting ball which Chris Boyd anticipated. When you consider how well Dundee United have done against the Old Firm this season, it's a wonder that they find themselves 12 points adrift of Rangers in second and 16 points shy of leaders Celtic. And such a poor start of the season, of course, losing 3 of the first 5 league games, only 2 defeats in 18 since. Away to Kilmarnock and at home to Motherwell. And it was a thumping defeat that they suffered against Mark McGee's Steelmen as well, losing 4-0 a couple of weeks ago. Not at their best last week either against St Mirren, although it was a spirited late fight back with 2 goals in the last 6 minutes, which saw a 2-1 deficit turn into a 3-2 victory. Kenneth's made his way forward. Ian Sanders had 2 pretty imposing aerial targets, and Darren Dodds is there as well. He's eluded them all. The flick on came from a Rangers player, I think it was Whittaker. And out of play for a Dundee United corner. Taken short. And corner number 1 is quickly followed by corner number 2 after Prince Bourbon's effort. Danny Granger to take it this time. Plenty of United bodies forward. Set piece is such an important part of their game. And delivery all important, and that was very easy for Alan McGregor. Four from Mendes to Novo. Good turn by Nacho Novo as well. And still Nacho Novo goes. Rolls it square for Boyd. Well, Zaluska stood still. He knew if that was on target, it was 1-0 Rangers. And the front 2, who scored all 3 goals between them in the week, close to combining for Rangers opener here. "23 goals for Chris Boyd already this season in 27 games. And that could so easily have been number 24. Put on the deck. It was a collision with Gary Kenneth. Seemed to be a push by the big defender. Play goes on with John Fleck taking on Kovacevic, the 17-year-old Out-muscled by a player much taller than him. He might have lost the first battle, but he probably won the war. Not afraid to stand up for himself either, John Fleck, just 17. Broadfoot ran out of room. It's a throw which will be taken on the near side by United. John Fleck starting a third consecutive SPL game. He's really made an impression since being thrown in by Walter Smith. His full debut in that last home game here against Falkirk, in which he was man of the match. Broadfoot this time, leaning over Sandasa. Now the offside flag's up against Chris Boyd. Well, so far the Rangers back line haven't really been able to turn. Sorry, the Rangers front line haven't really been able to turn the Dundee United defence. Tried on a number of occasions with balls like this over the top, trying to get round the back of the two centre-halves, but Gary Kenneth, marshalling a very well-policed defence, just stepped up to get Boyd offside. Turn forward by Fleck, but away by Kovacevic, and Feeney first to the loose ball for United. Kovacevic. Magaro Gomez. Nice ball from Granger. Broadfoot slicing his clearance. Kenneth rescuing it to get there ahead of Boyd. Ferguson. His header falling in the midfield for Gomez. Sandasa unable to make the most of a glimmer of an opportunity there, and Rangers can bring it forward with Ferguson. Now Whittaker. With pace from Whittaker, but the United backline haven't missed Lee Wilkie so far. Dodd's more than able deputy on his return to the side. So far, Lucas Zaluska has hardly had much to do. From Weir, and the bounce might be awkward. Novo's clearly got more pace than Dodds. Gets there first, survives the stumble. And then tried to nutmeg Darren Dodds, who saw it coming, stood firm and was forced just to block him off. Free kick to Rangers, brilliantly won by Novo. It has surrendered this opportunity on the half-hour mark for John Fleck's sweet left foot. Not so sweet on that occasion, might yet break for Broadfoot or Ferguson. That one was blocked. United doing well to get bodies in the way. Mendes will leave the throw for Kurt Broadfoot. In front Fleck for Mendes. By Prince Bourbon. Sandasa waiting for the ball to come, and Weir made sure that he nipped in between Sandasa and the ball. Davis, Ferguson, now Whittaker. Good approach play again from Rangers, working the ball quickly. Plenty for Stephen Whittaker. Everyone bar Sandasa back behind the ball. When the resulting cross comes in, it's harmless. Well, Ian Bryant's had a very good view of this incident. It was appeal for a penalty as John Fleck played in the free kick. It was whipped in from close range. I think it was that initial block by Gary Kenneth that the Rangers players took exception to. And Ian Bryan said no penalty and got it right. Sandasa offside. Prefer to John Daly in the starting lineup at the moment. Daly, the Irishman, top scorer for Dundee United so far this season with 9, again on the bench today. All four towards Rangers' top scorer. It breaks for Fleck. Well, it might just have hit the bar or cleared it, but Zaluska not in a position to take any chances. And it was a decent save to deny John Fleck the first senior goal of his career. Hit with plenty of venom. Rangers rewarded with their first corner of the game. In from Mendes, and it breaks for Weir. Scuffed this shot in a decent position. Play forward from Fleck, and Robertson able to clear. That was a good save from Lucas Zaluska, and a really good attempt from John Fleck. And can hit them with power with either foot, and the ball was certainly dipping underneath the bar. Good movement on it from the youngster as well. Plenty of action with the cut spin with his left foot. Broadfoot. Good delivery. Dodds was there with Boyd. Was he manhandling him? Referee says no. Ferguson then gets involved. Novo trying to get it to Broadfoot. Eventually Kovacevic is able to clear for Dundee United. Novo just having his shin pad and his ankle attended to there. Kyle Lafferty is fit again. He's back amongst the substitutes today. Kenny Miller on the bench as well, of course. Ball clipped into a dangerous area for Broadfoot, whose slice clearance puts real pressure on his own goal. And eventually they can shepherd it behind for a goal kick. Wry smile of a man who knows he's got away with one here, Kurt Broadfoot. Robertson and Feeney both put in the pressure on him, but it was Warren Feeney's touch that put it over the line for a goal kick. Stephen Whittaker stays down her, and he picked up a hefty clump to the ankle. Looks as though he's going to be okay though. And his ankle trodden on by Conway. Whittaker's okay, and Rangers push forward and win another throw in an advanced position. Mendes. He's offside as he got it back from Kurt Broadfoot. Another example of the well-marshalled United back line to push forward and catch Pedro Mendes in an advanced position. Not that they had to push forward very far, Mike. Feeney making a run over the top. Ball just eluding him. Dodds with a header away. So well to slot back into the United back line. Bearing in mind that he hasn't featured in the SPL since late November. Boyd's high ball back in. Oh, bounce was awkward for Feeney. He was grateful that he had as much time as he did to be able to bring it under control in such a dangerous area. Now Gomez. Conway. Granger pushing forward from full-back. Sandasa Gets a second opportunity. Bagheera has dealt with him just about. And electing to stop the ball going out of play for a corner. Bagheera has just presented possession back to United here. Granger tried to turn inside Whittaker and wins the free kick, Danny Granger. Well, Rangers more than aware of United's prowess from set pieces, spent a lot of time in training this week, making sure they didn't defend or didn't concede free kicks in soft areas. Now they've got to make sure they don't concede from one. There's a push by Gary Kenneth, and it's a free kick to Rangers. Push by Gary Kenneth on Majid Bagheera. He's had an excellent season, Gary Kenneth. He's started each of the last 11 games now and very much made himself the senior partner to Lee Wilkie. Conway. And still Craig Conway. And Fleck was manhandled by Feeney. Boyd trying to help it on towards Nacho Nova. Back from Ferguson to Stephen Davis. This is nothing new for Ali McCoist and the Rangers coaching team. They've surprisingly only led at half-time in 6 of their 23 league games this season. They've turned draws into victories in 9 of those other games. Struggling to break side down before half-time again.